Okay, we're going to do a really short workout for your upper body. So it's about upper body strength. So only do this if you're feeling fit and well. If you're not sure whether you should be doing it, if you've got any injuries, then speak to your GP before you get started. We're going to start in kneeling and just do a little bit of a shoulder warm up. So you can either be kneeling up nice and tall, or that cuts off the top of my head, or you can be down. It doesn't matter. It's all about your shoulders. So let's roll your shoulders forwards. Get a little bit of movement going. And roll your shoulders back. You can open up through your chest here. Good, and relax down there with your shoulders back and down. Imagine you're tucking your shoulder blades into the back pocket of your jeans. Bring your arms out into a T. Let's just start to circle through your wrists. And reverse the circles now. Good, hold that there. Pull your tummy in a little bit to stabilize through your center. Little circles with your arms. And reverse the circles. And hold it there. Can you do big circles forwards now? And big circles back. Just a little bit of a shoulder warm up before we get going because it's quite shoulder heavy this session. Okay, relax down there. Give your shoulders a little shake. We're going to come into a 4-point kneeling position. We're going straight into press ups. So let's start with your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips, and then walk your hands out ever so slightly. So my finger, my little pinky finger, is running along the outside edge of the mat now. From there, can you walk your knees back and send your bum forward? So now you're in a diagonal line. I'm too far back. A diagonal line from your knees to your hips to your shoulders. And then from there, very deliberately slide your shoulder blades down your back and pull your tummy in. So this should be a nice strong position. If you don't want to do press-ups, just come into this position and then push back into a rest position. Otherwise, shoulder blades down your back, pulling your tummy in. We're going to take an inhale as you lower down. Exhale as you push up. Inhale down. Exhale, push up. We're aiming for 10. You don't have to go all the way down to the mat if you don't want to. Just remember to keep your elbows close to your sides. We're looking for tricep work here. Good, we've got 3 to go. 2, 1. Push your bum back over your heels, reach your arms forwards. Have a little stretch down the back of your arms, down back of your shoulders, into your back. Good, from here, have a little roll through your shoulders again. We're going to come into a side lying position or a side seated position for a side bend. So we want to be down on your elbow, elbow underneath your shoulder. Take a bend in that bottom leg, stretch out through the top leg. I'm going to place my top hand on my top hip. So you're going to lift your hips up and come into a side plank position or a side bend as we call it in Pilates. And then can you reach up through that top hand, lift those hips up nice and high. We're going to stay in this position, you're going to thread the needle. So bring that top hand down, let your upper back rotate just a little bit and then open back up. We've got 5 of these. So rotate. And lift. You could do this with both legs straight if you're looking for a bit more of a challenge. Good, last 2. So your hips stay where they are, just looking for rotation in your back. Good, lower down there. Let's do all that on the other side. So either that bottom leg bent or both legs straight. Let's start with that bottom leg bent though. So bring your elbow underneath your shoulder. Stretch out through that top leg. Stack your hips one on top of the other and then lift up through your hips. Make sure you're in a nice straight line from your ankle to your shoulder to your hip. Ankle, hip, shoulder. Reach up through that top hand. Lift those hips up nice and high. Pull your tummy in and then you're going to fold through and reach up. We've got 5 of these. So you're diving through. My hand only comes to about armpit level and then reach up. Remember you could do this with straight legs if you prefer for that extra challenge. Good. Last 2. Do we feel like my counting might have gone a bit awry there? We're aiming for 5. Good, reach out tall, rest down there. Good, we're going to come into a seated position for some tricep dips. Excuse me. So you're going to roll through your shoulders again. Bring your hands back behind you. And you want your fingers to be either facing forwards or facing out if facing forward isn't possible for you. Have a little gap between your feet, a little gap between your knees. I'm going to lift up through your bum and send your bum back a little bit so your shoulders end up over your wrists. Then all we're going to do from here is a little bend at the elbow and straighten, bend and straighten. We've got 10 here. We're doing 3 sets. This is number 5. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And lower down there. Have a little forwards flop. Take the tension out of the back of your arms. And get ready to go again. So hands come back behind you. Fingers either facing forwards or out. Take a bend in your legs. You can do this with your bum down on the floor if you prefer. So you could just bend and extend and bend and extend. Or the harder version is to lift up through your bum. Send your bum back a little bit, and we've got 10 here. So dip and lift and dip and lift. Good. So come down if it feels too uncomfortable or painful. We've got our last 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down there. Little forwards flop. So working all those muscles down the back of your arm, back of your shoulder, which is really good for building strength. And we did the front, well, we did the triceps with the press ups, but there's also a little bit of front of your shoulder working in the press ups. And now we're really focusing on the back. Okay, last set of tricep dips. So fingers face forwards, open up through your chest, lift up through your bum, send your bum back a little bit, pull your tummy in, and then dip and lift and dip and lift. Aiming for 10. That's halfway. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your bum down there. Take a little forwards flop. So we've got a similar exercise next in that we're going to be having our hands in that same position, working the back of your shoulders again. For this time, it's a bit of a more of a full body exercise. We're going into a reverse plank. So can you keep that bend in your legs? Hands come back behind you again. We're aiming for 5 of these as well. Both feet flat on the floor, a little gap between your knees, gap between your feet, and then open up through your chest. We're going to lift your hips up now. So take an inhale. As you exhale, push your feet down into the mat, lift your hips up into a reverse plank. Hold it there. And slowly lower down. You want to be taking your look forwards and not up. Pause at the bottom just briefly and come straight back up. Pause there. Drive your heels down into the mat, drive your hands down into the mat and squeeze through your bum. And lower down there, nice and slowly. Keep all that tension in your arms. Don't bend your arms. You can make this harder now by stretching out through your legs if you want to. Feet together, lift up through your hips. Pause at the top, keep looking forwards. Slowly lower down. Last 2 now. Inhale at the bottom, exhale, lift up. Pause at the top. It's loads of work for your arms. Keep your arms nice and straight as you come down. Last one. Lifting up. Pause there. Drive your feet into the mat. Drive your hands into the mat. And slowly lower down. So much work. Have a little forwards flop. Feel all that tension in the back of your body. Let it all go. Few breaths here. Let's turn this into a little bit of a stretch. So take a little lean forwards. Reach towards your feet. Feel that stretch down the back of your legs. Down your spine a little bit. Into your arms. Good, and relax there. Let's come into a seated position. Reach one arm up towards the ceiling. Take a bend at the elbow. Then have a little pull of that elbow. Stretch out through the back of your arm. And relax that down there. Swap onto the other side. Last stretch now. Take a bend at the elbow. Hold onto your elbow and give it a gentle pull across. Good, and relax down there. Roll your shoulders back and down, and you are all done. Great work. Really strong upper body strength session there, but a really short one, and hopefully you're feeling like you've had a little bit of work and you're a little bit stronger. Thanks for joining in.